I believe there are 4 things that every single person in this room controls that right now you choose not to control. But if you did, your world would change immediately. I have these deep pools of belief that you can play a bigger game. The real opportunity is to work with that 60% that sits in the middle. Because if we can get the large majority of them to go to the next level, to play a bigger game, you've got a business that will absolutely rock. My role at a conference is being so good that people go up to the conference organiser and give them a pat on the back. I think people trust me at conferences because I do what I say I'm going to do. In fact, I will do more than I say I'm going to do. You know, that's a concept that I implemented in business. So when I created a company at 24 and retired at 34, one of the reasons I was able to do that is we always did more for people than what was in the contract. I wonder if the solutions, the ideas, the technology and the thoughts that you need to revolutionise your business in a tough industry are here today. Are they sitting on the table that you're with? I brought that into my speaking career of just go on that one step further. And again, that's about playing a bigger game, isn't it? It's about looking for that little bit extra, you know, that enough's not good enough. It's the story of my life. 60% of your employees can be influenced one way or the other on a daily basis. Pretty incredible, isn't it? There's 1,000 expectant faces in the room and they want something. I am the person that's been given the job of giving them something that'll make their career better or their life better or their business better. And it's fairly humbling to be in that position. That kick in the backside made me start the process of putting a line in the sand in the future and then fighting like crazy to get across that line. Deciding what I wanted to achieve and then not letting anything stop me from achieving that. And there's nothing that I've done from playing a bigger game that you guys couldn't do. It's just a matter of going, what lies in the future that I really want to attach myself to, and then doing everything that you can possibly do to achieve that. I get called a motivational speaker all the time, but I'm not really a motivational speaker, you know, because I see the motivational speaker as the rah-rah person who pumps people up, and they're excited for a brief amount of time, but then they go back to their old ways. I'm pumping people up for life, you know, not for the next day or the next week. So I was in Tokyo a few years ago, speaking at a conference just like this. And I get a phone call from my little brother to tell me my father's in Gundawindi Hospital and he has less than 48 hours to live. When I step onto the stage to tell a story, I'm actually in the story. I'm actually running that story through my head, so I'm actually living it on stage, and that's why people can relate to them so well. We need to allow Dad to forgive us. And Ken says, what's he going to forgive us for? He's the alcoholic, he's the one who got divorced, he's the one who hasn't been in touch. I said, imagine lying in the bed that you're going to die in. Having never, ever set eyes on your grandchildren. If I'm talking about owning your attitude, and then I tell you a story about the death of my dad, those two things come together and mean that when you walk out of here and think about attitude, you'll think about it in relation to the story. And so now you think about, geez, how Rowdy applied the concept of owning your attitude to the death of his dad is something I could do. So we stuck him in a wheelchair, put a straw hat on his head, and wheeled him off down to the Gundawindi pub. And I had the opportunity to have one last beer with my father. This is me and my little brother Ken when we got back to the hospital. We tucked Dad into bed. About an hour later, he looked up, gave us a wave, and drifted off into another world. But if you ever wanted evidence that when you are in complete control of your attitude, the world changes, this photo is it. I think we've lost the concept of being amazing. 1,000 people are going to be here today. I reckon if you ask those 1,000 people, do you think you're amazing? I reckon 995 of them would say no. And so the idea that at the end of this event, a lot more of them are going to believe they are, that's the game that I will play. You are the latest, greatest model in a long line of ancestors that have survived fire, famine, flood, disease, been courageous enough to step into the future so that everything that you have in your world and your business and your society today could come to fruition. And you need to be brave enough to step into that for your future, for your kids, for your colleagues, for the people that get to sit in this room in 20 years' time and go, weren't the guys that came before me amazing?